Love it. Right, that's better. Oh. Right, can you see that? That's my artwork. Thank you. Right then. Hope the mic's on. So, today it's just myself. We're going to do this as much as possible, really, because as we mentioned in the podcast that we first released, the first ever episode, the introduction, we, as in Joe and I, we live opposite ends of the country now. So this is going to be pretty difficult to get lots of videos out together. But come the summer months, we might get a couple of dates in the diary where it's both of us, we're on the golf course, giving you some tips, doing some course vlogs, whatever it might be. Hopefully you'll enjoy, and we'll keep you updated. Now, we will keep you updated on our Instagram channels, pages, platforms, whatever you want to call them. If you don't follow me already, what are you doing with your life? Follow me here. That's Joe Stevens PGA, by the way. Content. If you follow me already on Instagram and you're not interested in golf, unfollow. You'll probably get a bit bored. Joe Lovery as well, give him a follow. He doesn't need them. He's way ahead of me, so help me catch up. That would be brilliant. Thank you very much. So we're going to get the boring stuff out of the way, like I've just said. Like, subscribe, and stay notified about all uploads in the future. We're only going to get better. This is my first video talking to the camera, and only me talking to the camera. I haven't got Joe's aid of filling in and filling in my awkward silences. Just a bit like that one. You'll notice I haven't really shaved. Bear with it. This is a hobby. I'm not going to run my life around YouTube just yet. Hopefully in the future. You never know. We'll see. Top 5 drivers of the decade, as you can see there. Really, really excited about this one. I only came up with this idea this morning and turned the camera on, got set up, got a new microphone, and yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to film it. This is my opinion, by the way. This is so subjective. This is the drivers that I like, aesthetically, tested, got on with, hit my best drives with. So this is all me. Get down in the comments and let me know if you disagree with any of my choices. Let me know if I've missed anything out, and I'll let you know, and I'll be the first to admit if I've missed something out. I'll tell you. And I'll let you know on Instagram. Most of the updates that you'll find will be on Instagram. So let's go straight on in. So bear with me on the stats. I've got a reasonable amount of product knowledge, but not enough to tell you everything about every driver that's been released for the last 10 years. So in at number 5, I'm going to insert pictures wherever I can on screen. I'm not the best editor. I've never edited a YouTube video in my life before, so bear with me. My girlfriend's very good at it, so if the editing's amazing on this, by the way, you probably know that I've palmed it off, and almost definitely won't be getting it tonight if that's the case and it's been edited properly. So in at number 5, the King Cobra. Oh, no, is it King Cobra? No, it's not King Cobra. It's not Cobra. It's not King Cobra at all. It's a Cobra King F8. Now, I was really, really impressed with this driver when it first came out. I was in a big retail outlet where this came in and we had the product training on it. We did a little bit of testing and I was really, really impressed. It didn't go in the bag at the time because I had a driver that I was really getting on with. But this was a really, really good one. The one thing that stood out for me is the precision milled face. And yes, I am reading off my laptop here. Now, the CNC milled face was to create Cobra's thinnest, hottest, most precise face ever. And I bought into that, and it really did perform very, very well. I did a lot of custom fits on these, and people loved them. And I know people that have still got them in their bag now. So really, really impressive stuff. That's why it's in number 5, and I think it deserves a place. So let's move it on. Let's not make this a really, really long video, really boring video. In at number 4. So, number 4, this is something that's really, really impressed me, and it's still on the shelf now. And it was released in 2018, and it's still on pro shop shelves now as brand new. You might know what it is already now I've said that, because there's not many drivers that are able to do that. It's the Callaway Rogue. Now, the Callaway Rogue was first brought out alongside the Callaway Epic, and it was meant to be the sort of more forgiving brother of the range, let's call it. and it did really, really, really well for lower handicaps, higher handicaps. Again, I've seen a lot of different demographic of golfers using this same driver to great effect through the custom fitting options and purely really through the forgiveness of the head. You've obviously got the Sub-Zero version for the slightly higher spinners of the golf ball that like the look of the Rogue. And it was really, really good. Let's read you something about this then. So Jailbreak 2.0. We know all about Jailbreak nowadays. It's really a staple in Callaway's product range. Let me read you the little description on that. So the Jailbreak bars, which connect the crown to the sole, are a new shape in the 2.0. It's 25% lighter, which allowed Callaway really to reposition the weight to increase forgiveness. So bringing the CG back in a driver is going to increase forgiveness and launch. We'll go into tech talk if that's something you'd like to do down the line, guys. But for today, we're just ranking these on, in my opinion, and that is in at number 4, and it really, really deserves a place considering it's still going despite being released in 2018. That's almost unheard of now. In at number 3 then. Now this is a bit more of a throwback now. We're going back to 2012, and this was the first of a line of drivers, in my opinion, that they've really got it right if you're that sort of golfer and like the look of this sort of thing. Now, oh no, I'm not going to point and try and get the picture to come up at the same time. That is just going to be so hard for me. It might be easy for any editors. Any editors out there that want to do some work for nothing? Let me know. Can't imagine we'll get too many comments on that. So, the Titleist 910. The Titleist 910. This was the first of the modern era Titleists. That's how I see it. You've obviously got the D2, you've got the D3. So the D2 is the slightly larger head, slightly more forgiving, higher launching. And you've got the D3, which is slightly more compact, lower launching, lower spinning, for mainly higher swing speeds for better players, some would say. But that's all subjective based on custom fitting and lots of different options. But again, the tech stuff we're going to push aside for today. This is the stuff that I like, and that's why I'm ranking them. It's mine and Joe's channel, so we get to choose. What can we tell you about this then? So, the D2, let's tell you about a bit about the D2. So it delivers long distance through a technologically advanced head design with a responsive fast face insert. Bit of a tongue twister, but I got there. High performance weighting increases stability and creates low and deep CG for medium high ball flow. So that's what I was saying with the Callaway Rogue. The further back you bring, the further back and the lower you're able to bring that CG, the center of gravity, the higher the launch, the generally higher the forgiveness, which is fantastic. So the D2, that's what that's designed for. And the really amazing thing I think that Titleist do is, regardless of what drivers they bring out, they put loads of technology into it. Of course they do, but they don't put all the carbon, all the colors, all this and all that. When you put a Titleist driver down, you know it's a Titleist driver. I mean, I know that kind of sounds silly, but it looks clean, it looks tidy, it looks smart, but performs at the same time. I've had a couple of these over the years, but they've gone in and out because I've found other things that perform better. But really, really like this one. It deserves a place in the top 5 for the decade. Now, in at number 2, this is something that I gamed for a little while. And this was at the point where I was trying to play full time. Oh, by the way, while I mentioned that, let me know down in the comments for any young golfers, any golfers that want to try and make it as a tour pro, or up and coming amateurs that want to make it to scratch and play at a good level amateur circuit and looking into tour pro stuff. Let me know, because I'd love to give my insight. Very limited. I played for 2 years. I made the realization that 1, I wasn't really good enough. 2, I didn't work hard enough. And 3, it was what I wanted to do, but it was more of a dream than a goal. But anyway, that's another episode. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to hear Joe and I chat about trying to play full time, and the difficulties and the expense and the quality that you need to be at, the hard work, the talent that you need, everything involved. We'll cover it all. Anyway, going back to this driver, this is the driver I was using at the time, and it's the Callaway Big Bertha Alpha 815. Now I got custom fitted for this at Callaway headquarters, and it was amazing. And I had this in the bag over a year, and that's quite a long time for me. For anyone watching this video that knows me well, I like chopping and changing my golf clubs a lot. Not so much over recent years, but back then, sort of 2013, 14, 15, I was chopping and changing quite a bit. And yeah, we'll say no more on that. Anyone that knows me, they'll well, hopefully they'll chuckle at the video, otherwise there's no point in them watching. Now, yeah, this is something that was able to stay in my golf bag for really, really good reason. Incredible performance, looked amazing. Actually, to me, was really, really clean and tidy. There's a bit of red, bit of black, bit of silver, but that's just about it. As you look down on it, it looked really, really clean, and that's what I'm after in a driver for me. So on this one, you have the gravity core. This is something that they haven't used in recent models, but back then, that to me was absolutely incredible. It was revolutionary, and it was, and it still is. Everyone will still remember that. Now with the gravity core, you've got adjustability, or the ability to adjust the CG. So the gravity core, you can bring it to the top of the head, you can bring it to the bottom of the head, and that then depends on the flight that you're after, and you can tailor that to your needs. So obviously the further down you bring the weight, the higher the launch, and vice versa. So that was really, really useful for me, for someone that spins the ball too high. That's down to technique, of course, but generally I'm a high spinner with a golf ball as well. So any driver that's able to bring my spin down, maybe a bit of a clue for the number one, was a winner for me. So really, really good. Looked incredible, went miles, the adjustability was there, and I say no more. Moving on to number one then. So number one, we mentioned about low spinning, and if I was to say low spinning to most golfers of a driver that was released in the last few years, the most low spinning head that I've ever come across, and this driver, by the way, has spent the most time in my golf bag. It still holds the record for the most time in my golf bag, and it is the TaylorMade SLDR. Now the TaylorMade SLDR is, for me, the best driver of the decade, because it worked for me, and that's my opinion. I keep saying that, but that's the way it is. So SLDR, low spinning, it was revolutionary at the time for that sliding weight track, to bring it into the fade, to bring it into the draw. You obviously have the adjustment sleeve to loft it up and loft down. You get that on any driver really nowadays, but back then it was cool to have. This was 2014 that it was launched, and actually now we're looking at prices. I'm looking at the RRP here. I did a bit of research on this, and the RRP back then, brand new, was $349. And obviously not every retailer is going to have it for that. Maybe take £20 off here and there. So for about $329, let's call it. Fast forward into 2020, that's quite a cheap driver. So the way that golf clubs are moving, the prices are on the rise, but more technology, better materials are starting to flood the market. And there's other certain influences in that, but again, I'm not going to bore you with that. The reason I've got this in at number one, it was low spinning, it went an absolute mile, and it was so popular at the time, and it looked incredible. For me, it looked clean. Little silver line at the back, didn't put me off. Don't know if it put any of you guys off. What's your opinion on the SLDR? Again, get down in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. Not much more to say than that. That's my number one drive of the decade. Thank you for watching, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay notified. Follow us on Instagram. Joe Lovery will be back very, very soon. In our next video, in fact, we've got a couple of things coming out. We've got the golfing bucket list, and we're recording our Q&A from my Instagram questions a couple of weeks ago. Some really, really good questions in there, so thank you for those questions, and we will get answering them very, very soon. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully the editing's good enough for you on this one, and if you enjoyed this, maybe we can do an iron set. I know we're quite late to the party. There was a bit of a trend going on best of the decade about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So like I said, we are a bit late to the party, but we got there eventually. Joe Lovery and I will see you guys very soon. Like, subscribe, enjoy your golf.